Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to Soul Focus. And this is my very special guest, Tanya Aria Benlow. And she's an entrepreneur. She's spiritual. She runs around. You know yourself better than I do, so I'll just ask you to tell people what you do.
Oh, thanks, Brooke. Thank you so much for having me here today. Well, I've got loads of stories, lots of different things I've done in my life, and I now call myself a soul conscious entrepreneur because I very much focus on everything around, myself, health and wellness, and the planet, and multiple different things. So we were having a bit of a chat before, and I was saying, we all start somewhere in our life, but we never know where our journey is going to end and who we're
Yep.
going to meet and what's going to change our life. And I think that's a big part about being very spiritual and being open to what is possible and learning as you go. So probably just give you a little bit of perspective. I grew up in a very small country town in northeast Victoria called Bright, up in the snowfields. So it was a very special place to live and grow up in a nice, very safe place to be.
Used to the
And
cold.
then it's cold. I love the snow, but I do miss it because I live here in Adelaide now in Hahndorf. But we grew up in an amazing place. I met a fellow that brought me here to Adelaide in my early 20s. But I had this burning desire to be a chef. So I'm actually a chef by trade. I've got a fairly extensive background. And when I was 17 and a half, I had my first restaurant.
Wow.
That was up at Falls Creek. It was a lot of fun. And then I had my second one straight after that. But back then, I'm 50, just about turned 51. And back in those days, they didn't employ women in the workforce back then. It was a very male-dominated industry. And
Okay.
so I had a lot of struggles with sexual harassment in the kitchen, which was a very interesting thing to go through. I had my mum help me through all that process, which was very lucky. She was there to support me through all that. Gave up my career for a while, went back to it, and then moved to Adelaide. Had a couple of restaurants here, and I did the last one I lost. So that was kind of like my turning point to end that career. Made a decision to get out of it. And then I worked across education and training for 20 years. And that took me to all around Australia. I met businesses everywhere. I looked at how we could really create change in companies by upskilling staff and doing so many different things. So it was a really extraordinary kind of job role. And but I had two very major accidents over the last few years. So in 2004, I worked for a food manufacturer for 8 years, and in 2002, I had a spinal injury from work, and so that put me out of work for a few years, and I had 2 spinal fusions. So I was told I was never going to walk again. I had a pretty poor outcome out of it, and worked very hard for a year. That was, we talk about spiritual things that keep changing us. I was really introduced into the spiritual realm probably from the age of 10 with my mum. And so we had a lady that we used to do a lot of meditations and things like that every week, which was really amazing. But my journey didn't really open up until this particular injury actually happened. And I started to look for a lot of other different healing modalities because when you go through such extreme pain, medications don't fix everything. So, and you can really feel your body's very much out of alignment. You're in a lot of pain and muscle pain and things like that. So I started looking for naturopaths, masseurs, anybody that could put their hands on me to help my energy heal and change through my body. I started having a lot of Reiki done. You name it. I was out there trying anybody and everybody because I think when you go through those kinds of things, you've got to look outside that circle in the box. And I even have a little gadget called a Healy as well. And the Healy is a frequency healing device. And I've got a lot of these different things. I've got a lot of TEMS machines because I've had so many surgeries all over my body. So I have TENS machines are great, but they're only good for like muscular sort of, healing, that kind of thing. And then I had this thing called an Oscar pulse machine, and it was a little round thing, and it radiated electromagnetic pulse around the area, which realigns your energy and your healing, and helps nerve damage and your body to actually heal faster. And then
Awesome.
I got introduced to the Healy as well. So that's the same sort of thing. It does thousands of different programs through your body, So I was always looking for something, outside the box.
There's plenty of stuff out there. And like I was reading up on handheld scaler machines that do muscle repair and do 1,000 things. And they're like $5,000 each. They won't let you import them into half the countries, but they'll give them to astronauts. That are going into space. I mean, work that out. No, you can't use that.
Well, this little bugger here, he cost $4,500, $5,000. So so that was one of the items we added to our business, a few years ago, because I thought, well, if I could find great relief from it, that was another product I could sell as well. So I ended up on an amazing healing journey, and then we travelled around Australia for 5 years and worked. My husband and I did contract work, and just opened the door up to more possibilities of realising, geez, what an amazing world we live in. We can really move outside of breaking what the norm that we're taught to do, how we're meant to live life, what we shouldn't do. And this is about conditioning as well. We're told that we should have a job, and we should earn an income, and we should save, and we should do this. And one of my mottos I often put on social media now is, we spend a whole life becoming who we are, and now we spend the rest of our life becoming who we want to be. So, and it always, we always come to a certain point now. It's either in our job because we go through burnout, or or bullying, harassment, or there'll be some pinnacle point in our job role which creates the job change, career change, or pushes you into early retirements, which was my last injury, pushed me into early retirement. But you look at how that just keeps changing all the time, and then we keep wanting to become somebody new or better or change or that kind of thing. So I'll explain a bit more about that as we go along. But I think it's good because we get to be who we really want to be when we're ready to actually let go of what's holding us back all the time.
Absolutely.
And, meet people like yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I was at the same stage as I had to have a sober look at my life and go, wait a second, if I don't make changes, I'm going to die what I'm doing now. And this will be my whole life. And that was the big wake-up call for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
we go through so many different things in life that can either kill us, like literally kill us, because we can stay. For me, I could have easily stayed in a place where I was in that really, I was in a suicidal state when I had my first spinal fusion done, because I couldn't get up at all. I spent a whole year laying flat on my back, staring at the same bloody dot on the ceiling wall. That drove me nuts.
Oh, God.
But I had to write. I had to actually kept a big diary, and I always say to people, if you ever go through anything very traumatic like that, get a large diary and write everything out of your head every day and get it out of there, because you'll do your head in. So that was one of the best things I ever did. And then I burnt it after I finished my healing. So released all of that. But sometimes you've got to be able to write things down, get through it. And, that whole process that I went through for a few years, all the rehabilitation, kept pushing myself. I got myself off the drugs because I was on enough drugs to sink a battleship. I don't know if I was ever addicted to drugs, but because I go in and out of times with my spine now. I have a lot of problems with it, but I go in and out of times where I'll have big hits of medication just to pull the pain back, but I can get off it like at a switch. So I don't ever feel that I'm addicted to medication, but a lot of people find it very easily to get addicted. So it's really hard to go through that kind of thing in life and be able to pull back, move forward, and find people to help you as well. And so we have a lovely mutual friend, Lorraine. Lorraine's been able to help me through a lot of things in the last sort of probably 2 years, which has been really good.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. So, and since I moved to Adelaide, we only moved here 3 years ago because we'd been in Cairns for 20 years. And we moved back to Adelaide to look after our family because all of our parents are getting elderly now.
Yeah.
And so it just allowed me to open the door on new opportunities. And when we moved to Adelaide, I was actually on a work cover claim still. I was on another one.
Bonus.
Well,
money.
it is a bonus because it allowed me to still have my treatment and be paid, which was good. But I worked in education and training for 20 years. And my last role that I had, I was a manager at TAFE running a super portfolio up there. And I had a function, I fell down the stairs and I hit a brick wall in front of me and damaged my body quite severely. And in 1 year, I had to have 4 major surgeries. And I'm an artist as well. So coming out of having my spinal fusions, that was one amazing thing that I learnt to become was an artist. I loved to paint. So I can, I would say I spiritually free flow paint. Yep. I never have too much of an intention of what it is that I'm going to paint. And my first 150 paintings were laying in bed upside down painting like this. And I gave them all away. And then I painted and I had 6 restaurants I used to have all my paintings in. And I haven't done much painting since I've been in Adelaide, but because it's all in the shipping container at the moment.
Yep.
But it just gives you realise that all these things can come out of you when extraordinary circumstance keep coming forward and hitting you. And this painting was one of the most incredible things to allow me to learn things about myself. It made me realise that I was very high strung sometimes, and it brought me back down again. And sometimes I would not know when I'm going to paint. I could wake up in the middle of the night and I'd go outside, and all of a sudden, like the colour, I'd be drawn to colours, different things, and I'd just pick up the paintbrush and start painting. And sometimes I have no idea what I'll be painting till I come towards the end of it, And so it was really interesting to learn to paint like that. We did a lot of courses as well, but it was really a lot of fun. So I do a lot of abstract stuff. But
it's very important to have some sort of outlet, just
to
some creative outlet. I mean, I do woodwork and I make magical items and leatherwork and all sorts of stuff, and I love doing it. It's good to create. You get that sort of sense of achievement, and it helps build you.
I think it just gives you. When I was looking for a hobby, it was like finding something that I could makes you feel good, And you just, I think if you find the right hobby, you realise how creative you are and that kind of thing. And sometimes you have no idea you're creative, and you can learn new skills. And sometimes you might need to go and have a couple of classes or something. So it's quite interesting. And that's kind of where this has sort of led me to now in my career change again. So when I was having all these surgeries, I was 2019, sort of 18 and 19. I had 4 major surgeries in that 1 year. And I'm left-handed, and this last surgery I had done, I had the shoulder done. I had to have the ulnar nerve done. So they had to cut all my elbow open through here and decompress all the nerves through the arm. And I lost the use of my left hand because I had to cut all the hand open to lengthen all the tendons to stop my fingers curling over. So for years, I couldn't hold a fork. I couldn't even eat my food. For 3 years, it was like that. I couldn't hold a paintbrush. I just couldn't even write my name. All these things. And I thought, oh, Jesus, what am I going to do now? I thought, well, that's it. I'm done. Can't go back into my job again. And I really didn't need to work, but I am a workaholic, one of these people.
Got to do something,
Got to do something. My head goes 100 miles an hour and I can talk and I love meeting people. And that was a great thing about traveling around Australia, meeting businesses and helping them to look at their education and skilling their staff and all of that kind of stuff. And I thought, I've been trying to get out of that hamster wheel of working in that industry for so long. And every time I was like, oh, I want to change. Well, something major happened like this. But then every time I sort of wanted to change, it kept throwing me back in there. And that was probably because I was so passionate about what I did.
Yep.
And I thought, I put a post on social media one day and I said, what do you all do? I want to know what everyone does, because we wanted to have an online business that you could do while traveling in the caravan, because eventually once our parents pass on again, we want to be back on the road traveling in our caravan. And a lady reached out and showed me this, what I do now. And I was like, oh, this is really different. And this would be more of an alignment around what I've done before in my past. I know I could transform those skills from what I did then into here. And I was, this is really good. And it's not like what anybody else does. And I could make an extraordinary income. So really any kind of income. There was no actual cap on it. So, and because I was in a really high income from TAFE, I thought, well, how do I find something that I didn't have to go and sell thousands to make, $500, like Party Plan. When you do, I used to sell I loved candles. So I did that for 9 years on the side. And every time I bought more candles, I made $100, but I spent $150 on more candles. So I never made any money. I just kept buying more candles. But I was looking for something very different. And I never thought of actually working in the health and wellness sort of sector, but that's where it sort of has led me into it, and into social media. So that whole year I spent just learning the art of social media. So I used a platform that was US based, and it taught me how to use Facebook, how to use Instagram, how to do copywriting, storytelling, just so much. It taught me how to launch a Facebook group. So I launched my first Facebook group 3 years ago, and that was huge. And so it just gave me skills. And I thought, geez, if I didn't have to go back to TAFE or uni to learn something that I could do from home. And so every day while I was, in between rehab and things like that, I thought, all I had to do was sit down every now and again and just watch a video and then apply it. So I didn't even have like Facebook. I really didn't have everybody on Facebook, and I didn't have Instagram either.
So what's the secret? What's the secret to a Facebook group? Is it content or just the way you do it, or?
It has to have very specific intention. Yep. And I was going to give you some details and I forgot to check it last night. So I paid to do training for a year with these guys who just scale Facebook groups. So they show people how to scale Facebook groups and monetize Facebook groups. And so the secret is every week you need to have an interview, a live interview, because Facebook groups is about bringing your audience to you, so it's not always having to do stuff on Facebook. It's actually creating a group that has your audience and your people who want to actually hear you turn up every week as well. So just something like what we're doing today, you could also live stream that into your Facebook group. So it actually counteracts as an actual live, gives it great algorithmic, and you can invite everybody to watch it, which you can't do on Facebook or Instagram. So that gives you your private audience that you can invite to every live that you're doing or every interview. So there needs to be sort of if you can try and have two very specific things in your Facebook group each week, and that would be a live interview. So you're interviewing someone else, because that gives really good content that people want to hear and know. And then the other one would be training on something. So you could give training on to show or help people learn about spirituality, because a lot of people have no idea anything about it, because we're experts in our field. We just assume that everyone knows, but you really need to assume that everyone knows nothing. And so every week,
that's not what they say when you talk to them. That's not what they think.
Everybody assumes different things, so it's really interesting. But so for me, because I had spent a year and a half learning this before I launched my my Facebook group, because I didn't know what my Facebook group was going to be about. And then I thought, and they gave me the tools to sit down and think about what it was going to be about. And I thought, wow, I've met so many people traveling all around Australia and all the businesses, and I've met people that have had extraordinary things that occur to them. And that's what's always pushed them into their next career or their entrepreneurship or their business or whatever. And I thought, God, I could actually just go back and connect with all those people and ask them would they come on for an interview. So I started doing it, and they were so excited. They were like, oh, yeah, I want to be on your interview, I'm like, oh, how cool is this? This is not hard. And So for 3 years, every week we were interviewing someone. And then, so my value, because you need to give value to your audience at least once a week. So my value was using the training that I was using in this academy, and then I delivered it into the platform, into my Facebook group. So that we had people of all, age, demographics, business owners and whatever. So, and they just needed some tips and strategies of how to help and run their business. And I thought, I'm an expert on all this. I've owned restaurants, I've owned businesses, I've been in every single business around Australia, you name it, I've been in it. And I thought, I know so much, but I never really thought about that. I just thought I'd had a job.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh my God, I know a lot. So this is where it just helps you unpack all of that. So for instance, I've got a nurse who has just finished her career because she wanted to be vaccinated. Yep. And so she came and had a look at this last year for 6 months, and she thought, wow, this is really interesting. Because I say, yeah, you have so much skills and knowledge. She's been a nurse for 25 years. All that knowledge you have, how could you put it into something really amazing? And so she went away, finished her job 3 months ago, took 3 months out and went and did a lot of inner healing, let go of everything. She burnt all her clothes. She goes, I'm ready for this now. So she's now coming in on the journey, and she's learning about how to put all that together. And I just sort of help and support her, and we just touch base every week. And so she's creating like a health and wellness program. She's going to do a series of videos on wound care and all sorts of stuff. So, and then I think probably in 3 to 4 months' time, we'll help her launch a Facebook group with a few other people in there as well that are specialists in different things. So there's always content topic experts. So Facebook groups are good. So like yourself, you could get a couple of other people. So your friends that do conversations or different healing modalities on different things. And you can actually create a Facebook group to give really high engaging content. So people will want to come back and see what's going on in your group every week. So if a Facebook group just has posts and memes, people don't want to read that. It's not engaging. It's not,
I'm in 1,000 Facebook groups, and I just share out to them. That's all I do. Share out the lives. You just don't have time. It just gets endless.
Yeah. So I only play I think I tried to actually unsubscribe from Facebook groups now, but I think I'm in about 700 or 800. It's ridiculous. Yep. Can't even look at them. But I only play in 4 or 5. So I have 4 or 5, and I've actually got them like pinned on my phone. So I know at each day I can just quickly go back and it's actually on the front, of my phone. I don't actually have to go into Facebook. They're actually pinned onto the front of my phone. So I can know that on Tuesdays, this one has a live on it, and I make sure I go back and watch the live if I've missed it at 11 o'clock, So I know every Tuesday, 11 o'clock, they've got a live. The content in this group is dynamite, and I will replay his video every week. I won't miss a session because everything this bloke says just lands and you go, oh, I need to hear that today, So that's what's good about being able to create a Facebook group around a target audience. And so my target audience was people who had I used to call it, it's gone back to its original name. I called it the hot seat for emerging entrepreneurs on social media, which was about interviewing emerging entrepreneurs. Then we did a branding change and we called it Leaders for Healing or Leaders in Healing, because we were all leaders in life. We all went through an extraordinary thing in something that's occurred in our life. And then we've gone through the healing journey, and now we can share that experience because it's about giving value about how did you get through that and where'd you go. So we had lots of different people come in, hypnotherapists, different healers, all different people. So people could give away tips and strategies. So every speaker had to give away some tips to help people move through something or break a barrier or, how to heal from something. So it gave intentional purpose. So
that's a good idea. That's the information people are after.
Yes. Yeah. So, there's lots of stuff you can do. You can give away a session. So the idea would be you would create an event to get people to come to or to post, you could create a thread where you could give away a book. So you could say, show me the best photo of this, an activity. So it creates an activity. One of the people in there would get, $50 Amazon prize to go and buy the book of their choice, or they could have a free reading from you to the value of $250 or whatever. So there's loads of different ways you can actually engage the audience to participate as well. So it is endless, but you've just got to be very creative and know how to do those things. And this is what I do, is I bring people into a place where they learn all the skills and the art, and there's master classes in there from these Facebook group experts that actually just do that. So they are really, the best in their field. And I paid an extra $5,000 to be a part of their course for a year, but now it's only a 12-week program with them. But, for a year I had to.
Same price.
I was lucky I got a whole year with them. But there's high-level masterclasses in there from entrepreneurs from all around the world, and you can get on live with them and ask them different questions. So, you could do what we're doing now, just as a hot seat, and say, I've been doing this for a while. I'm having issues bringing my content out in social media or finding the right people, so they can give you lots of different strategies. And these are people that are, not just earning a couple of multi-million dollars. These are people that are earning like the $9 and $10 million, or $100 million businesses. So one of them, this guy that I don't miss his Facebook group, he knocks over too. I saw his business the other day. It was $253 million a year he turns over. So until you see this kind of stuff, you go, really, is that possible? And you know what? We all start from nothing, and we've just been shown a place to learn new skills. And you can spend a lot of time out there. A lot of people, I go and have coffees with a lot of people in Adelaide that have started their journey and that are struggling. And I sit down and say to them, how much did you spend in the last year or two to get to where you are now? And on average, most people have spent 10 to 20 grand. And I just say to them, so you haven't really even kind of really launched. You're not actually making a consistent income. There is a lot of problems and a lot of things you've missed here. So you've missed loads of stuff to get to here. So when I show them what we do and then put them on a process where they learn step by step into different things to get them to a certain area, then they go, right, they understand where everything was missing. And they've only got to pay $1,000 for this to use it for a whole year. So this is a really amazing part about actually coming to an academy that you can, it's huge, it's absolutely massive. And it's designed to set you on a structured pathway to start with. And then you can choose what you want to go and watch and learn and do from other areas. So you might want to focus just on Instagram. Well, there's Instagram fundamentals that shows you everything from starting your account for the first time, and you can have one primary account. You can have 30 business accounts behind it if you wanted to. So you can have multiple. So it shows you how to set them all up properly, how to set all your word protection up properly, and then everything from color paletting, story writing, content writing, videos, how to use all the different apps on your phone as well, like everything. And then there's whole sections on how to run ads for beginners, ads for advanced. And then we will have the masterclasses every fortnight. They'll have people that are experts in running ads. They'll come on and tell us what's just changed in the market this week. So they say, well, this was what we were doing last week, and this is what we need to learn now because this has changed. So it's really interesting how you can keep evolving and moving, and social media is very fast at moving and changing. So, so I've been doing it for, what year is it now? 3-4 years. So, it's I never stop learning. Every day I'm learning something new. So, and it's quite powerful to realise that if you're in a place that supports you really well, you can actually, like yourself, you can go in there and connect with 3 or 4 or half a dozen other different people in there, and then you can create something unique and special online and do it as a group. So you find the people in there that are probably a little bit more skilled and ready to actually, run and do a program online or do something that's here, because you'll probably find there could be another dozen people here in Adelaide that, you could go and connect with, or you can build your audience. So it was funny. I had Lorraine.
Networking. I mean, I helped Lorraine with a few things, and she's helped me with a few things. But at the moment, I'm just trying to work out. Okay, maybe I've got to reshuffle everything and look at how I can utilize what I'm doing and monetize it to a degree to bring more money in. So that's what I'm looking at the moment, trying to focus on at the moment.
Yes, yeah. And this is a community of people, global entrepreneurs, that you can actually even build your business through them, because they are looking for people to, because it's this academy is very much around that 80% spiritual work. They actually say regularly, if you've got business blocks, you need to go and do some spiritual work, because your spiritual work is about, unblocking and releasing and a lot of different things, because people feel your energy. And so Lorene's been in this for a little bit, and she was up here one day and we were watching a masterclass, and Preston Smiles was on there, and he was talking to a couple of women he was showcasing that day and talking about inner love, because a very big part about people wanting to create an online business, their first problem is they don't love themselves. And people can feel that in your story writing or your live videos or anything. They can feel that you have low energy, or, that you're just not vibing right. So Preston says, he did these really big exercises, which had a lot of us in tears, watching these two women really, understand they had no self-worth and no self-love. And he said, where you are right now, he goes, you're in the most amazing community of people that have incredible healers and people that can help shift and move you from this right now. He said, go back inside this community and find who you need to find. So they're not having to go outside, look for other people. They find the people in the community. And I said to Lorraine, did you just realize what he said? And she's like, no. I said, he's just given you permission to put a post up in the academy and say, this is what I do. And she's like, oh. So I said, that's just given you your permission slip now to do a free advertisement in front of, thousands and thousands of people there. So
how does it get any better?
Doesn't get any better. That's your target audience right in front of you, So that's what's really amazing. As we just also help people, get into the front of the right people as well. So, yes, there is no there's no right or wrong with entrepreneurship. It's just a lot of people say to me, "Oh, I can't be an entrepreneur." I say, "Well, why?" And they think an entrepreneur is somebody that's doing something very specific online, because there's a perception of what entrepreneurship is. An entrepreneur is just somebody willing to go the length of time and try anything to make it happen. And it's learning new skills. So this is what we love to show people, how to really unlock it, but unlock it quite fast, like in that first 30 days, because you should be really launching out of that gate and going in that first 30 days. So they give you the really structured strategy to actually do that. And sometimes it's about relaunching. So you can relaunch who you are in your business like every couple of months, because your audience changes. So and the big thing is making sure the audience is continually growing and changing as well. So that really helps your views and your business going and that kind of thing. So it's a big part of getting outside your comfort zone too. So I have some very specific ways I grow my audience very fast sometimes. And I might just go into a Facebook group. So just to give you an idea, I went into Dee Martini's Facebook group, and I wanted to connect with people in Adelaide, because for me, I love going meeting people. Actually, I need that face-to-face connection. And so I went into his Facebook group, and then I looked at where all the people in there that were located in Adelaide, and I sent them a friend request. And in 1 week, I got 400 new friends. So I was like, oh, this is pretty good. So it just helps you look about how you can actually find the people that would be having that same conversation with you, or just relate to you on who you are and that kind of thing. So, so my Facebook pages and things like that, I've really now, I think, honed into my target market, which is sort of niching into people that need business skills, because I know business. So I always say to people, if you're going to find a coach, would you find a coach that's gone through the trauma? Because then they know and experience that kind of thing. So if you're going to,
absolutely.
go into an online business, would you do it with just your best friend who started yesterday, who's probably going to pull out in a month, and then you're going to be stuck on your own? Or would you do it with somebody who actually has a lot of skills and knowledge that can support you at any time? Like one of the girls rang me last night. She's like, I'm trying to do this post, but I can't get the fonts to change. So it's like, oh, that's easy. Send her a quick message, done. She's like, oh, I made her day, So simple and easy, So so I get a real kick out of helping other people, change their business, their strategy, and their skills. And now I get time to, because I'm actually retired, I get time to go and do the things I really want to do, and that's go and have massages, go and have healing sessions, go and do meditations, go on retreats, go do sound healings. And that's what I love to do, because now I'm actually doing the things I've always wanted to do without any limits, So I'm like, what am I going to do today? So I can actually, all right, I'm free today. I'll ring a couple of people and say, do you want to go out for lunch today? So we go out for lunch, and we not on a time frame, so we can just sit there and talk all afternoon if we want to. So it's about creating a connection with people that for me now is just, I'm not on a time zone or time limit. I do on Mondays, because I do like to spend one day a week and just do everything online on Mondays. Yep. So I tend to find that I could be booked. Like, it's unusual, but today I'm booked till probably about 9 o'clock tonight. So, but normally I have my phone off at about 6 o'clock every night, and my time is with my husband every night. So I'm present every night,
That's so important.
Absolutely. Yep. So I think understanding a really good strategy of having a business online is you're not on it. A lot of people go, what? And I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't be on it. If you learn the strategies really well around having a good business online, you get on with intentional purpose in the morning after you've done the things you need to do for yourself first, because you come first, not your online business. So get that right first. You don't need to actually turn your computer on or whatever until 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Do what you need to do first for yourself, and then do your business online. So your business can be just me. I just do half an hour. So I have set strategies that I do for the first 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'll put a post up and I actually get off it, put my phone on charge, and I'll walk away. I'll come back and look at it probably at lunchtime, or if I'm sitting down having a cup of coffee, I'll just have a look at it for a minute, but I don't sit there and, like most people, are on there for ages and they're scrolling
through.
Yeah. So when you know how to use social media, and social media is about being social, you'll actually learn it on a very different way. So, and then, so I might put a post up and you might think that I don't actually have any likes or comments on it. That's fine. I don't get hung up on it. It's the conversations that I'm having in a messenger chat with somebody behind it that you're not aware of. And when I put a post up or I do a live, it's for one person only. So a lot of people think, oh, everybody needs to hear it. It's this, but it's not. When you learn how to do things properly, a message from you to a person needs to be just for that one person. Because if you're going to create impact and change to change somebody's life, that person just needs to hear it. So, and that person quite often messages me as soon as they hear it, and I'll have an amazing conversation with these people. So that's about building proper relationships as well. So that's a really big part of having a good business online, is actually building a proper relationship with someone. So it's
amazing. It's amazing how the universe works. Like I'll do like a pop-up reading show out of the blue, and it's happened. I'm like, why am I doing it? And then I'll do a short one for just over an hour, but you'll see that one person that you've never seen before come on, and you give them a really powerful message. You go, that's what I was there to do today. I was there to give that person that message.
Yeah.
And
then you're on your soul purpose journey, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's pretty amazing. I totally love what I do now, but I don't actually do anything. It's kind of funny because
I love it.
A lot of people say, what do you do? And I'm like, I don't really do anything.
I don't know. Have a coffee.
Yes. have coffee. I do actually go to the business network here I joined the BNI here in Adelaide last year because through COVID was where my business just really took off, and that was fantastic. So I didn't have to leave the house, and I have an amazing setup here. I actually have a really full-on studio set up in my kitchen. It's just off the back of the table, only because my husband works in the office full-time behind the next wall. But it means you can do anything anywhere. You don't need to be, you don't have to have an office. You don't have to do anything. You can be mobile. But yeah, I joined the BNI because I thought I need to get out and actually start meeting people. So as soon as the COVID restrictions broke last year, a year ago now, I joined the BNI here, and that's allowed me to actually go and physically meet people all across South Australia. And that's just opened my business up exponentially, because getting in front of someone face to face and having a quality hour time with them has just changed my life as well. And I've grown a whole new network of friends, which is really important. I have to bring you along to one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's Adelaide. It's tiny.
Yeah, so these are Friday mornings in the Adelaide Golf Course that I go to there. And now I've just joined the one up in Hahndorf, Mount Barker. So they do breakfast on Wednesday mornings, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, no, it's good.
Mount Barker sounds cold.
It is this time of the year. That's freezing. That's why I'm rugged up. I've got a couple of layers on.
Best Ugg boots.
That's good.
So you also water balancing. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So the main core product behind our business is water. Yep. And it was this was a big part of actually starting my online journey, and the water was the actual core product behind my business. But I had an extraordinary life-changing health change on it as well. And a lot of people think all water is equal, whether it's rainwater, tap water, and you can actually research through your local councils on what's actually in your water, which is quite frightening when you find out what's actually in your water. And more people are actually doing a lot of research. And when I started doing a lot of research around electrolyzed reduced water, which is structured water, and that's being electronically charged. So it's a filtration system where the water goes through a filter first, removes the chlorine and the impurities out of it, and then electronically charges it through titanium plates. So when I drink a glass of this kind of water, I absorb 80% of it through my body. And when I drink any normal filtered water, tap water, anything, rainwater, you only absorb 17% of it through your body. So it just makes you realize, I spent a whole year before I started doing this, researching the medical science side of it, because the scientific part of it was just mind-blowing of what it does to the body. So electrolyzed reduced water, and that's ionized rich water, it's antioxidant rich water, helps return the body back to an alkaline state, and it can start doing that in 3 days. So it's very, very quick. So and we can have what a lot of people talk about, oxidative stress in the body, and they go, oh, I've got a pill to fix that. That is not what oxidative stress is about. Oxidative stress in the body is like inflammation in the body, and that causes all things from the pollution in the air we breathe, the food we eat, where we eat the food from. So it's everything, the alcohol we drink, everything about life. The soap we put on, the chemicals we put on us, the chemicals we clean with, that creates oxidative stress in the body, which causes chemical imbalance in the body. And this was part of my next healing journey, of learning, well, this is where my puzzles started coming together. I'm like, right, well, maybe my next thing to heal my body was going to be water. And living in Cairns for 20 years, I drank a lot of water. I drink 5 to 6 litres a day because you're so dehydrated there. You're always drinking a lot of water. And I'm very lucky that I was never brought up drinking soft drinks. So soft drinks, and I started doing some research. So you can go through the Water Balance website and you'll see them doing tests on all the different water. And it's quite interesting. We believe a lot of garbage that's on Google and social media, and we realize actually that's not the place to learn things. So where we learn things is on Google Scholar and PubMed, where scientific stuff's actually given the right information. So, but yes, the electrolyzed reduced water can really help balance the body back to its natural state and do a lot of different things for the internal organs as well and for the body. And this is where, if you look at all the medical history, my parents have had a lot of really severe health issues. Mum's had bowel cancer, renal cancer. She's lost her right kidney as well. She pretty much doesn't have any bowel left now. Dad's got all sorts of other different things as well, and his cancer as well. So I'm always now about every 3 to 6 months is going for medical checks and checking that I don't go there as well. So when I started researching the science behind the water and how that actually helps our body, and hydration is the key. So we don't hydrate enough. And then because you hear a lot of people talk about reverse osmosis. If you go to a naturopath is going to tell you to get off reverse osmosis water, because that actually strips all the minerals out of the water. And creates what we call dead water. So it's really that water serves no purpose for you actually drinking it. And then then they're putting actual other external products, minerals into the water. So it's not natural. Whereas this is really natural, high mineral rich water. So what it does, it actually, when it charges it, it really strips the minerals into one section of the filter, the pipe where you actually pour the water out of. So you can see when you drink it, it's like the amount of oxygen bubbles in this water is phenomenal. And you can taste it's beautiful and smooth. And it just, you drink it, it's just like this, it's very lovely. And we shower in it too. So we actually have another system where we shower in it, and it's this particular beautiful ion shower, mineral rich water. And it's got these little beads in it that comes from a specific place in Japan. So, and it's chemical free as well. So there's no chlorine in it. It still doesn't take out fluoride. You can put pre-filters in to take the fluoride out, but so it changes the structure of the water. So when you shower in it, because Adelaide has the hardest water, it's awful. So, in some places in Adelaide, you can't lather up water very well. We shower in really beautiful soft water. So, and it's nice for your hair. The color, if you color your hair, the color stays in your hair a lot longer and things like that. So it's really interesting to learn about water. And another really big thing we never think about is our animals. So there's a good section in there to learn about the pets and the animals, so they can really change the uric acid that's in like dog and animal wee. And that's because of the water that they're drinking. So quite often you'll see dogs will leave a yellow pit in the grass out there, and that's because they got very acidic urine. So if you were to give them this water will then actually balance their body pH level, and then the grass doesn't die anymore because they just got normal wee. So and that's the same for our body. Yeah.
Well, I used to be have a family business, and we used to be industrial coaters. And we used to use fluoride to etch the surface, to harden it and corrode it, so we'd get a better bond. We'd use fluoride, so it's corrosive, and we use it as corrosive. But what was interesting is when we did the rinse of the objects, if we used normal water, it'd come out with like a fine rust on it. But if we used ionized water, it'd just come out clean.
Yeah, it's ionized water is really amazing. I think a lot of people just don't know. You don't know what you don't know until you start doing some actual research, because a couple of people, they'll go, oh, I Googled that and that says that was bullshit. And I'm like, you just don't know what you're looking at.
Go watch the news.
A lot of people, and this could be other companies writing reviews on there just to really piss people off. But I spent a whole year and I watched TED Talks from neurosurgeons and doctors, and it was phenomenal, the things that they were saying that this water does, medically. They've actually seen it on patients. I actually send out some medical information if people want to do research, and it actually has all the medical links in it. So if you want that, you can just send me a message, and I can send you the medical research links, because we are not allowed to say this water will do this for you on social media, but I can give you that information. You can go and do it. It'll take you to PubMed, so you'll see all the scientific medical information that's actually published. There are books that are actually been written by doctors around this as well. So it's not something that's just new. So the company that created this machine has been around for 50 years now. And it also has a 400 to 500 year vision for what this company is going to do, in a long period of time ahead, which no other companies do that. So the integrity of it's made in Japan. So the water ionizer was actually created in 1974 purely for hospitals, just to disinfect hospitals. So it creates multiple different pH levels. So you can this was particularly created back then was just to disinfect hospitals. So that creates a 2.5 water that's ionized and electronically charged with salt. And so it has a little salt-based solution tank that sits in the bottom of it. And it's really amazing to see all the different things you can use this water for. So this is where we talk about chemical-free living. So you can clean your whole house with the 2.5, like disinfect your benches, your toilets, toothbrushes, anything. And even with skin, so especially animals, like a lot of animals get skin irritations, you can clean the skin with 2.5 first to kill the bacteria in the skin. Yep. Then you can spray it with the 11.5 so that emulsifies the oil and the dirt out of, say, dog hair. And then you can pour the beauty water, which is the 6 pH water over it, and that just settles the skin, allows the skin to relax and heal and go back to its nice state without having to put chemicals and soaps and creams on skin. So it's really interesting to know that you can do all of that just with water and not other chemicals, so it's a really big part of what we do. And I suppose that's why I call myself a soul conscious entrepreneur, because I focus on chemical free living, sustainable living. It's taught me to compost everything, make my own soils, grow my own vegetables, and live sustainably, and realize that everything that we put in our mouth is what's going to create change in our body. So if we can eat better, drink better, even like I love a wine. So I will actually have, before I go, in between my wine, I have this, I take it with me everywhere I go. And even if we've had a big night, I've had a couple of friends come over and we've had a few bottles, I'll drink a litre before I go to bed. And it just hydrates your body so you don't wake up with that thump and headache. So the big part of hangovers is because you're dehydrated before you actually go to bed. So fascinating.
Before we end, have you got any up and coming events or things that you want to talk about that you want to?
Yes. So I've just teamed up. This is what I was saying is great about teaming up with new people. I've just teamed up with 7 other women this week, doing a series of webinars about what we do, everything online. So tonight we're just filming a couple, pre-recording couple, and then on Friday, I think it's Friday the 7th of the 7th at 7 p.m. Adelaide time, I'm doing a live webinar, and I have actually launched a brand new Facebook group called Career Change 22. Because this year is a really good opportunity for everybody to, whether you've started a business or whether you are in a corporate career or in fly out work. So this was sort of fairly targeted for our first webinar on Friday, because I'm from the corporate background market. So my key strengths are talking to people in corporate world. And the other 2 ladies, her and her husband work in oil and gas, and they're in France. And the other lady is based in New South Wales and Queensland, and she's had her entire life working in resources. So she's worked and travelled all around Australia working in mines. So you're just going to be able to hear from these people how we've taken our career into the online world. So there is seriously nothing that stops you having a go and learning. So we've launched the Facebook group. Hopefully it goes live this afternoon. It'll probably go live tomorrow, because we're doing a few more recordings in it today. And then we start adding people in. So if you want to be in this new Facebook group so that you can actually hear it, you'll be able to see us talk a lot more in depth about this over the coming weeks. We want you to, just reach out and say, yes, you want to be a part of it. You want to hear it and see it. It's free to join. There is no cost for it. But you'll just be able to understand that, if all we have to do is leverage social media and be ourselves, and we can make money from that, that's like the most amazing thing. We don't have to pretend to be anybody else. So, it's pretty cool.
And that's one of the links that you sent me?
Yeah, I will have to add that one in, because I didn't want to send you the link, put it out there today, because they won't be able to join it just today. But we'll pop that up on your thing. I'll send it to you now, and you can pop that up there. And it's called Career Change 2022. You'll just have to answer a couple of questions to come in, because it is a private group, so we don't want just anybody in there. So, no, it's fantastic. Thanks, Brooke. I really appreciate
No
it.
worries. It's been great listening. I've learned so much. I'm very eager to learn more because this is the sort of path that I'm going down at the moment, and I'm trying to work out. And and if you don't do it right, you just end up just spending time and money just in the wrong areas, and it can be very exhausting.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and I think it's really important to come to a place where you can learn it properly, be supported. And this is the biggest part of all the entrepreneurs that have come out in the last 2 years have said they found it to be a lonely place because they've got no support. So it's really important this is why these guys created the academy, because they knew that was what was missing. And just to have the support and the community and the people you can go and connect with and meet. We have regular meetups in different cities everywhere around the world, so you can come and meet more people. It's pretty cool.
It makes such sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, Tanya. I'll put all the links for Tanya, if you want to find Tanya, will be in the show notes. And Julian, see you later, people. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tanya. Bye.
Bye. See ya.